Welcome to Good Games Spawn Point, the show for gamers by gamers. I'm Hex.
And I'm Barjo.
And I am Darren.
Coming up in the show, we create our craziest avatars yet in Tomodachi Life.
Oh, I'm Barjo Pants McGee. I'm Barjo Pants McGee.
I'm Barjo Pants McGee.
And we paint the town red, green, blue, and more in The Last Tinker, City of Colors.
Game looks amazing. I can't wait to review it. But first, Darren, what question have you got for the Spawnlings this week?
Oh, it is indeed a tricky one, Hex. Power up your intellectual neurons, Spawnlings. It's time for Darren's Challenge! This week, I'm asking you, what species is Ratchet from the Ratchet and Clank games? The answer will be revealed at the end of the show.
Well, that's easy, Darren. Ratchet is a cat.
Good try, Barjo, but you are so very wrong.
Barjo is obviously some kind of alien species, and last time I checked, cats aren't alien.
You find cats may very well be alien. He's a space cat.
There's no such thing as a space cat.
That's enough, you two. Kerry has just noted that we're running behind schedule, so let's go to Goose with the news.
Take it away, Goose!
Thanks guys, Goose here at the Spawn Point News Desk. The International Space Station is currently fixing itself. Repairs and upgrades to the station have in the past been left almost exclusively to the handiwork of astronauts. However, this time the Canada Space Agency is remotely controlling a multi-limbed helper robot called Dextra to perform the dangerous task on itself. The hope is that in the future, all repair work on the station can be handed over to our robotic counterparts. We've been hovering in games for a while now, so it's about time real life caught up. The Aero X hoverbike was first announced in 2012, but after 15 years of development in low altitude flight, it's finally ready for production. It reportedly can reach up to 72 kilometers an hour and is capable of vertical takeoffs and landings. The first ever STEM video game challenge commenced this week. Open to entrants from grades 5 to 12, the challenge invites budding game developers to design, build, and submit an original educational game with a focus on science, technology, engineering, or mathematics. Entries will close on the 30th of September, and for more information about how to enter, you can visit their website here. And that's all the Spawn Point news. Back to you guys.
Thanks, Goose. Now it's time for Tomodachi Life.
Yes, well, this life simulator was released in Japan in April last year, and after selling really well over there, Nintendo decided to release it here as well. Initially, it's hard not to draw comparisons to Animal Crossing New Leaf, but it doesn't take long for the big differences to show.
Yeah, when New Leaf makes you responsible for running a town, Tomodachi gives you very little responsibility.
I wish something exciting would happen.
I know what you mean.
Where New Leaf gives you checklists galore, Tomodachi Life is a bit of a bore.
Wonderful rhyming there, Barjo.
Thanks, Darren. I have mad rhyming skills.
Your characters inhabit an island of your naming. And naturally, I called mine Darren Island. You preside over the island as a supreme being, supplying inhabitants with food, clothes, and entertainment upon request. As you complete these menial tasks, characters will level up, allowing you to give them new items, a funky new apartment, or just some toys and trinkets to play around with. In this sense, it's very reminiscent of Nintendogs and cats.
Yes, and by creating more characters, you're creating more opportunities for cool character interactions. The only apparent goal in Tomodachi Life is to create characters that get along well enough to eventually marry and have children. You can have some influence over the unions by prompting islanders to start the relationships, but it seems to turn out the same way anyway based on their personalities.
MJ, I'm so glad you feel the same way.
Yeah, it's strange, but there seems to be an in-depth system for determining the success of each relationship, for better or for worse. During character creation, you can select traits in a number of categories. The character is then slotted into one of 16 personality types. You can work out how well friendships and romantic relationships are going to play out by checking the rankings board and compatibility tester.
I'm upset that you can't have robot relationships. There is a robot in the game, but you can't even socialize with the poor, lonely machine.
Come back soon.
I'm getting awfully tired of robo-discrimination.
Well, there is some fun to be had with this game based around the sheer absurdity of it all. For example, the concerts you can hold are pretty spectacular, and I like that you can change the song lyrics.
I love Badger. He is the most fun, glorious one. He is so great at eating sandwiches. taste of cheese once more.
And the text-to-speech technology is hilarious. Watching mundane conversations is actually the most entertaining part of the game, solely because they all sound ridiculous.
I'm not sure my new cartwheel everywhere exercise regime is working.
I'm interested in your definition of working.
That does wear off pretty quickly, though, particularly because it's so repetitive. My humour circuits were tickled initially, but after a while it just became uncomfortable.
Well, there are some interactive events in the hangout sections. One of the games at the amusement park is an 8-bit RPG. It's pretty basic in design, but it was nice to have a clear goal for a change.
Tomodachi Life is like a combo of many other Sims, but without the heart of any of them. This is like a weird, silly joke that gets old fast, so I'm actually giving it 3.5.
I appreciate the absurdity of the game. I do find it quite funny, but I also find it quite pointless, so I'm giving it 4.5 out of 10 rubber chickens.
Well, speaking of interesting relationships, you two might be interested in a new episode of Totally Incompatible.
Awesome, Darren.
Oh, Darren, is it true that I heard you and Goose have a new apartment?
Spoilers, Barjo. Roll the tape, Kerry. Totally Incompatible is filmed before a live studio audience. Okay, Goose, that was the last checkpoint. We have an early shoot tomorrow morning, and I need my beauty sleep. And so do you.
Okay, Darren, you're probably right. I'm just going to go for one more quick stretch, but not for too long. I'll see you in the morning. Good night.
Good night, Goose. Don't stay up too late. You know how much Kerry hates it when you have bags under your eyes.
Yes, Darren, got it.
All right.
Night.
Goose? Wake up, Goose! We're late for work!
Oh, no, Darren! I slept in!
Affirmative. Don't forget your backpack.
Wait, how are you going to get there?
Rocket boots. See you there. So my motivation is my character is on 10% health. Got it, right.
And action.
What? What?
And cut.
Sorry.
Oh, you silly goose.
What a day, Darren. I am so tired.
Goose, you really shouldn't be gaming all night. It makes you ultra tired, affects your work, and is stressful on your delicate human eyes. It's not healthy. And that only makes gaming less fun.
I guess you're right, Darren. Okay, just one quick game of Ratchet and Clank tonight.
Just one quick game. Oh dear. Just goes to show that biological systems need their precious sleep. I guess he's only human.
Ah, yes, an important lesson for all you spawnlings out there.
Is Goose going to be okay, Darren?
Oh, he's fine, just a bit sleepy. But quickly, off to the our spawn point desk. Chop, chop. Kerry says we're still behind schedule. Hurry, hurry.
Alrighty, let's answer some questions, Badge. And first up, we've got this one from Ahmed, who is somewhere in Victoria. What was the first game to come out on Wii U? Can you put a hard drive on Wii U? What console is the best? PS4, Xbox One, or Wii U? And Darren is noob. And Barjo do this. And what's next Mario Kart game? I know that Mario Kart 8 will come. Plus our answer or no more Mario games. And what's the next Gaxley Gammed but Mariops? How old are you? I'm 7, and I got Super Mario 3D World, and I got all the stars. Thanks, who made Darren, and who's his mum? And let Barjo answer it. Ahmed out. And I love your shows. Why do you like games?
Well, quite a lot of questions there, Ahmed. First, there wasn't one first game on the Wii U. Consoles almost always launch with a whole heap of games rather than just one.
And the Wii U launched first in America with just over 30 games available, like New Super Mario Bros., U, Nintendo Land, Skylanders Giants, and Epic Mickey 2, to name a few. So really any launch game could be considered to be the first Wii U game, or at least one of the first.
Indeed. And yes, you can use an external hard drive with a Wii U, although Nintendo does recommend you use one with a dedicated power supply.
As for what console is best, well, there's no clear answer to that. They're all great in their own ways, and each has interesting features that make them special.
The main thing to worry about is simply which console has the games you love to play on it. If it has the games you love, then that's the console for you. It is the best one.
As for the next Mario Kart game, well, my guess is that's not going to be out for ages because Nintendo has only ever released one Mario Kart game per console. So the Nintendo 64 only got Mario Kart 64, the Wii only got Mario Kart Wii, and the Wii U is more than likely only to get Mario Kart 8, which we just reviewed and you can see on our website.
That's right, we quite liked it too. So it's safe to guess that the next Mario Kart is going to be called Mario Kart 9 or something based on whatever their next console is called.
As for new Mario Galaxy games, well, so far Nintendo hasn't confirmed if there are any in development. And they might make one soon or in a few years, but honestly, who knows if they'll ever return to it. As for how old we are, well, it's never polite to ask a lady her age, but I'm 29.
Oh, that's heaps old, Hex.
Not as old as you.
A beard soon. That is true, I am older. In fact, in Barjo years, which is a special formula I use to calculate my age for Barjo years, it's so 29 divided by 6 over the time is 33 cheese square root of cheese 7 makes me 3,206.
Whoa!
Yeah.
Wait,
Yeah.
what about regular human years?
I don't know, Hex. I don't keep track of that. It's crazy talk. As for who Darren's mum is and who made him, well, from memory, his mum is Mumbot and his dad is Dadbot, and I'd have to guess that they would be the ones who created him.
Do you think they were always called Mumbot and Dadbot? I mean, surely Darren just calls them that, but they have names, right?
Well, let's find out, Hex. On the phone!
Whoa.
Ow, hurt my hand.
Just be careful.
Hello, Barjo.
Hi, Barjo here. Hi, Darren.
Hello.
So we were just wondering, what are your Mumbot and Dadbot's names?
Oh, well, my mumbot is Doreen, which stands for the Data Organizing Robot for the Efficient Extermination of Noobs. And Dadbot is Donald, which stands for the Destroyer of Noobs and Linguini Dispenser.
Oh, that's right. He was a pasta chef, wasn't he? Which is why you have pasta scoops for hands.
Affirmative.
Yes, it runs in the family. Well, there you go. We learn something new about you every day, Darren. Bye for now.
Bye.
I think we've answered all the questions there, Hex.
No, actually, he also asked, why do we like games?
Oh, yes, because they're heaps awesome, totally awesome, and they let you experience countless universes full of pure imagination.
Well, that's a pretty good summary, actually. So moving on to this one, which is from Izzy Cat Person in Adelaide, South Australia.
What could this be?
Come with me and you'll be in a world of pure imagination.
Darren singing. It's Darren singing. Please answer me because this is my third time sending in a letter. Please, can you please review the best cat game you have? Darren is a noob.
Well, Izzy, there aren't heaps of cat games that I can think of. There's Nintendogs Plus Cats, which is pretty decent as a pet simulator. It does focus mostly on dogs, though, and makes you do a fair bit of work to unlock cats, but I gave it a 7.
I think I gave it an 8, Hex. Other than that, there's Connectimals, which lets you play around with big cats and lions and tigers. It's still one of the better Connect games in our opinion, and I gave it a 7.
Well, it was a 7.5 for me, I think. And remember those Blinks games that you had in the original Xbox? You played as a cat who had a time-controlling vacuum cleaner.
Yeah, I think he was meant to be the mascot for Xbox, wasn't he? But then the games weren't that great, so it kind of never happened.
Well, other than that, have you played Cat Lateral Damage?
Ah, yes. Now, that's the browser game where you play as a cat and you have to knock stuff off shelves and tables.
Yes, that's the one.
Genius. Fun for about a minute, but genius. And it is a free browser game, so that's not a big deal.
Yeah, it's not that amazing, but it is a funny idea at least. I wish there were more cat games, but anyway, that's all we can think of. So moving on to this one from Retail, who is in Melbourne, Victoria.
My cat knocks all my stuff off all my desks, and then it tries to knock me off the desk.
Mine do too, but it's always after I go to sleep. So I get into bed,
Yeah.
and I pull the covers up, and I turn out the light, and I'm like just about to fall asleep, and then it's bang, crash.
Yeah. Are they having a party?
They always
Are
have-
starting
they always
a
have a
band?
party
Are your
after I
cats
go
in a
to
band?
sleep.
Was that the band Crash of Cymbals? Are they in a rock
they just
band?
get mischievous. And
What
they
would they
just
be
go,
called?
You know, with the little paws, and they go like this. Boop.
If my cats were in a band, they would be called Catzella.
Hey GGSP, as an uncle to several spawns, I often watch your show. I recently saw your Ask Good game where a spawn asked how to get free gems in Clash of Clans. I'd I'd like to advise about several apps offering the ability to get free gems in Clash. These apps are all about data mining, and a warning should be given to younger gamers. Cheers, retail.
Oh yes, good thinking, retail. It's usually best to completely avoid websites and apps that promise you free things like premium currency or free versions of Minecraft.
Yeah, they're almost always loaded with viruses or some nasty software that you really don't want on your computer or phone. Not to mention most of them are just scams and won't give you any free gems anyway.
Scams, yes. If generally something sounds too good to be true, it probably is.
All right, well, let's move on to this one from K-Boy, who is in Pancake-alicious town and city in Queensland.
Pancake-alicious. Sounds delicious, not
Town.
nutritious.
And city.
Hey, Barjo and Hex, will Spider-Man be in the new Disney Infinity Avengers playset? And can you give me a preview? Also, will Apple be making a new console? Thanks.
Yes, K-Boy, we can confirm that Spider-Man is going to be in the new Disney Infinity since he made a very brief appearance in the latest trailer.
And here's a quick look. Now, don't blink your eyes or you'll miss Spidey.
As for Apple making a new console, well, they've never really had a console before, have they?
Actually, I think they did, Hex. I can't quite remember the name of it, though. What was it called? It might be the... What's this?
It's one of those tin can phones.
Ring, ring! Answer the can, Barjo!
Hello? Barjo speaking. How may I be of assistance to you today?
Hello, Barjo, it's me, Darren!
Hello? Hello? Hello?
Pull the string
Hello?
taut, Barjo.
What was that?
Pull the string taut!
Pull the string taut. Pull the string taut, Hex. Oh, pull the string taut. Okay. Hello?
Darren to Barjo, do you read?
Oh, yes, we read you loud and clear. Is this your latest communications experiment, Darren?
Affirmative! Did you know tin can phones work by converting sound waves into vibrations, which then travel through the string and then turn back into sound at the other end? Most ingenious.
It definitely is, Darren, but did you just call us to talk about tin can phones, or are you actually going to help us answer the question?
Oh, yes, of course. Apple did in fact release a console in 1996 called the Apple Bandai Pippin, but almost no one bought it and it was discontinued promptly in 1997.
Oh, yes, I remember hearing all about that. Although I guess you could say all their mobile devices are games consoles, I mean, couldn't you?
Oh, absolutely. The mobile device is a gaming platform in this day and age.
Affirmative. There have also been rumours they're working on a more dedicated style of home console, but until they officially announce such a device, I'd remain dubious.
All right, well, thanks very much for that, Darren. How do I hang this up?
You can't hang it up, Barjo. We'll be talking like this forever and
No.
ever.
Oh,
Oh, well.
All right, well, I think we're out of time for this week, but of course, if you've got a question on your mind, then send it in here.
Back to the studio.
See what I did there with
I
this?
sound like I'm on old-time radio.
Cut it like that.
that was genius.
I thought so.
All right, guys, it's time for the last Tinker City of Colors.
The Last Tinker is an adventure 3D platformer where you play as Koru, a young kid from the slums of Colortown.
Your journey begins by meeting the town locals. By helping them out with odd jobs, you're rewarded with gems, the game's currency. And when you have enough gems, you can enter the big annual town race.
The opening has a very cheerful vibe, doesn't it? That is, until things turn bleak.
That's right, Darren. The trouble starts when the seemingly innocent purple spirit befriends you and then drains all the colour from the world. And now it's your job to get the colour back.
I thought it was a really imaginative setting. That epic colour drain worked so well, it really affected me. I wanted that colour back immediately.
Yeah, I agree, Barjo. It's so cinematic, isn't it? I love the art style and the animations. Everything is so bright and vivid. It's such a delightful world to spend time in.
The Tinker world is divided into 3 districts, red, green and blue. And unfortunately, the citizens don't get along with the other colours, especially when the bleakness sets in. It's up to Koru and his flying friend Tap to restore the balance.
That's right, and Tap does a wonderful job of showing you where to go by leaving trails of confetti. What did you think of the combat, Hex?
Well, it sure didn't lack variety. Koru was able to take down his bleak enemies with 3 different powers. The red power deals damage, the green power sends enemies fleeing in fear, and the blue power freezes in place. But as much as I appreciated the range of combat styles, I found myself pretty much sticking to the red power to just take out my enemies.
Yeah, I know what you mean. Even though there are a few different moves you can purchase with gems, I found it much faster and easier to pummel my way through with those powerful red punches.
And I'm sorry to say that the enemies lack intelligence. Sometimes they just stood around waiting for their turn to get hit.
Yeah, I found that a bit silly too, Darren. One thing I really enjoyed though was the movement in this game. Koru travels across the terrain with some graceful free-running skills.
Yeah, you can use one button to sprint and free run, which allows Korra to leap between ledges, swing off poles, and climb up vines. I thought the single button movement system might be a bit basic, but it works well.
Yeah, I agree. I also enjoyed hunting out those golden paintbrushes scattered throughout the levels.
Oh, so many collectibles, Hex. It's easy to get sidetracked smashing every box and collecting all the gems. But as I was exploring around, I did get a bit annoyed that I didn't have a jump button.
Well, that's just the design option the developers chose for the game, Barger.
I know that, Darren, but I feel like even if you don't need a jump button, it should always be in a game. Every game needs a jump button. Although those rail sections nearly made up for it, they were a good addition, I thought, Hex.
Yeah, I had fun in those parts too. Also, bouncing from springboard to springboard was pretty cool. A big standout for me was the music. Every track just suited the setting perfectly. It made me want to just slow down and enjoy the scenery.
Affirmative. The sound design was also brilliant, providing many great effects.
Yes, but there was a real lack of voice acting in the game, I thought. The characters talk in this gibberish language, and I'm not sure if that was the right decision. I just want to be able to understand what they're saying, Hex.
I think it suited the style of the game though. And some of those quirky rabbit turtle characters were adorable. But we should wrap this up, Barjo. What are you giving it?
Well, I think it could have been a bit harder, but I enjoyed this game. It's nice being in Tinker World. I'm giving it 7 out of 10 rubber chickens.
I think this is a great choice for anyone who's after a good PC platformer. I'm giving this charming game 8 out of 10.
Well, sadly, that brings us to the end of another episode. But Darren, the answer to your challenge, if you please.
Certainly, Barger.
It's Space Cat, isn't it?
Negative, Barjo. Earlier in the show, Sportlings, I asked you what species Ratchet is. And the answer is a Lombax. A Lombax is a cat-like bipedal humanoid species that originated on the planet Fastoon in the Polaris Galaxy.
Yeah, it's a space cat. It's a Lombax. It's in space. It's a space cat.
Next week on the show, we take on gravity cooperatively in Ib and Ob.
Didn't cite me, Darren. We'll also have a look at a game which is about a boy searching for his lost uncle in the aptly titled A Story About My Uncle.
Until next time, may all your games be good ones. Hex out.
Barjo out.
Darren out.
You know, I've got a theory about cats because sometimes at night I wake up and my 2 cats are staring at me and I think they're plotting to take over the world because I think cats are actually aliens from space coming to take over the world.
Well, you know, there's a lot of conspiracies about cats in Egypt. And, you know, in Egypt, they used to worship cats. So maybe they were, like, some species that came down from outer space.
Definitely.
Is such a thing even possible?
I don't know.
Yes, it is! But it probably isn't.